Smack that.
Smack that. We are just jumping straight in to the first of the podcast for 2022. And we're a man down. We've lost Charles. Where's Charles?
Where's Charles?
Charles gone MIA. He hasn't reported back for duty since the 24th of December.
Charles on notice.
We're calling him out. Charlie, where are you? Come home.
He's been struck down.
Been struck down by
Doosa.
Doosa unfortunately contracted COVID. Charles is in isolation until tomorrow, but we had to get this podcast out for the people.
For the fans.
What I do want to say and what I do want to update people on is you can now rate on Spotify downloads dwarf Apple downloads. I think Apple have lost the podcast sort of battle to Spotify. So if you are listening on Spotify, even if you aren't listening on Spotify, if you have the Spotify app, if you're on YouTube, because we do get a lot of plays on YouTube, can you please give us 5 stars and a fun review on the Spotify app? Because it helps us a lot and we want to climb the Spotify charts. That's our 2022 goal with the podcast, is to get on the health and fitness, even without talking about health and fitness, get on the health and fitness fucking charts of Australia.
We want to climb it. We want to reach the summit. And also, if anyone's a representative of Apple, your interface for podcasts sucks. And that's why Spotify beat you out.
100%.
So,
But also, Apple are the first company ever to hit $3 trillion, which is a fucking sickening amount of money.
Wow.
And well done to Apple. So props in that area.
Your MacBook Pro is amazing.
capitalist overlords.
Yeah. You
But that doesn't take away from your shitty podcast interface.
Interface sucks, and there's a reason no one uses it.
If you got 3 trillion, you could sort that out.
Come on. What are you doing?
Take notes from Spotify.
Yeah. But yeah, we are back. And if you can rate us on Spotify, that would be great. What we wanted to do was a little bit of a recap of the break to just kick things off, because we've had a bit of a turbulent break. Jamie and Donnie, we actually could have got Donnie on today. Maybe you could.
Do you want to sit in, Donnie?
We should have got you a microphone. Today could have been your day.
There's a microphone
Donnie.
right there.
Do you want a mic today? We can pause and set it up. No.
I reckon a lot of people want to meet you.
A lot of people
flat
do.
no.
Nah, he'll never be in front of the camera. Donnie doesn't want any limelight. He just wants to grind behind the camera. That's it.
Always grinding.
But we wanted to do a bit of a recap of the 2 weeks off. The first thing I want to say is my mother, my beautiful mother, bought us these blue pillows for behind our backs
Loris is the GOAT.
because she was sick of the cock shots. So hopefully there'll be less cock shots, because
How's our posture?
we'll all be sitting up a little bit higher now.
I'm now more erect as a result of the pillow.
Granted, Charlie's not here, so the
Stiff.
real test is, will they help Charlie's sitting
I
position?
reckon nothing can help.
Someone called it a dead frog in one of the comments, which I thought was funny.
I don't
Charles
know.
Dex
Was
frog.
it a dead frog? I thought that was rhyming slam for the W word.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Another
maybe. That message threw me. I wasn't
we're
sure.
starting
That
the
was
new year
that was
with
Nate.
more racism.
No.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know if dead frog is Aussie rhyming slang or
I
dead
thought
frog
that's
is
what
something
he-
to do with your nuts.
I thought it was about his nut shot.
All right, maybe we've got to
Let
Urban
us know.
Dictionary this at some point.
Well, it's also the first. We're really going here, but it's also the first with King Ziz in the corner here. R.I.P. to the King.
Aziz.
Aziz.
With his shoulders, his delt, and his jaws just popping. But let's get
jaw is popping.
grinding. Let's get back to what we were going to do, which is a bit of a recap. First thing, Charlie is obviously in isolation. Second thing, I contracted the dirty dog, and I got smacked with it. Christmas Day, I got it for Christmas. Thank you very much, Santa. At a family lunch, and spent 7 days in ISO, which was shit, but bad luck. Shit happens. Dids, what happened?
So
Talk us through it.
you may have noticed the elephant in the room is in my hand. I fell off my bicycle. Initially, they told me I broke the side of my hand and my pinky. Thankfully, it was just the pinky. I wish I had an interesting story to tell you guys. Like, oh yeah, I was doing this backflip, BMX. I just fell over. Wasn't going that fast. Previously, on the ride, me and Jeremy were going hard down a hill, 50 k's an hour. We come to a complete stop, start to take off again, not going very fast, out of nowhere. Just fell.
On the ground.
I just fell. Hit my head. Finger went that way. Head went that way. Smashed my Fitbit. Thank you to the good people at Box Hill Hospital and Maroondah Hospital. Sorted me out. Was able to avoid surgery. Got this splint on. They rearranged my bones, so they're all lined up now.
And then
But
we
yeah,
just
so-
wait. We wait for the heel.
And now we just let it heal, which is crazy. No,
So
no wires.
what's the recovery? When did it happen, and what's the recovery process?
So it happened the 29th. I had an appointment about a week after that where they told me I'd have to have surgery, which was a bit, oh, there you go. And they told me it was going to be in 4 days. So it was all like coming at me from all angles. But then they rung me the next day and said, we can probably just manipulate it without surgery. So from here, it's about 4 to 6.
Did that hurt?
So I don't know if anyone's had local anesthetic. Fucking killed so much. Like there's one like went in here.
Isn't it meant to localize the area?
No, that's to get the anesthetic in hurts. Once it's in, you're fine.
yeah.
But getting it in.
All right.
So there's a needle here first, and then there. This one hurt, and then this one hurt really bad. It's like your hand's not that deep, but it feels like the needle is like a knife. It feels like it's going like a meter deep, and you're sitting there. They're like, "Oh yeah, wiggle your toes," and then I was like kind of grunting, kind of like.
Did you get into mongrel mode?
I went into mongrel mode. I was thinking about David Goggins. I had him in my mind, and then for some reason I started laughing. I was like, I was like manically laughing. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with me?
Should have been filmed. That would have been good.
This is the most pain I've ever experienced. And I'm laughing. So yeah, but then once that was over, that was fine. The manipulation didn't hurt, but it was a weird feeling because this doctor, she was there, literally just like yanking on my finger. She was like pulling it, popping it, and I'm like, oh, there it is. There's a bit of a pop. That didn't hurt, it just felt weird.
Yeah. How far up your arm was anesthetized?
So just
your hand,
just my pinky.
Yeah.
Very very localized, very specific. My
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they nailed it. So yeah, once again, thank you for the team at Box Hill Hospital.
And how long have you got the splint on?
6 weeks.
6
and then
weeks.
After that, we can take it off, start doing some hand therapy to get it all back to normal.
Rehab.
In the meantime, I'm attaching a little cuff to my elbow so I can still do some training. And yeah, we press on from there.
We do what we can, as we should.
Because a few people have said, "Oh, how long are you out for?" I'm like, "No,
I'm not out at all."
Not out. We're just
That's good. You should
pivoting.
probably document it. I think a lot of people,
for sure.
I think a lot of people would actually enjoy seeing the strategies that can be undertaken when a hand is actually, we were talking about this, like the SSB bar. The SSB bar just in and of itself opens up so many training options. If you were somebody who had one of your hands or arms out of action.
I had a client break her finger recently, and I just thought to myself, what a time to be training. We have SSB bars, we have belt squats. Like,
it's the future.
Like 10 years ago, unless you're in some really like specialized gym, there's not a lot you can do, but like there's so much you can do now.
So many gyms are equipped,
so many gyms are well equipped. So yeah, there's really no reason. I mean, obviously, some injuries are really, really bad. For the most part, you're going to be able to do something.
If you want to continue, you should be able to continue.
For sure.
100%. Oh, well, yeah, it'd be good to see, and we can obviously talk about it a little bit over the coming podcasts, because we are a health and fitness podcast, hopefully in the top 50 by the end of the year of Australia.
We're going to manifest that.
That is the goal.
That's up to you, yeah? Right. Spotify
is where we need the action. So if you are watching, this is... and we also got boys, we got an offer for a sponsorship on the Spotify, on the podcast.
From
Manscaped. But we didn't really get back to them. Number one is because everyone is sponsored by Manscaped.
Yeah, like Andrew Shaw.
And you can tell they didn't even listen to the podcast when they sent the email. They must just get an update of who's now creating podcasts or whatever, because it wasn't. But we'll get back to them, and maybe we'll have some better nut shots coming. Maybe that's why they wanted us, because the nut shots. Maybe that was
maybe they saw the what is it? The caption. The photo on Spotify. These guys look pretty ethnic. Maybe they need some
hairy boys.
Maybe they're in need of some manicuring of their nuts.
Yeah. Hairy boys with hairy legs on camera. Just got to sort it out.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you on that. We'll update you as we are. We're transparent with a lot of things we do here at Culture, and that will be the next thing. The first, maybe we'll throw it out like an NFT. Anyone that buys an NFT can decide on who we get sponsored by. We go to the group.
What do the people want?
The NFT holders. If you hold an NFT, you can determine if we take sponsorships or not. Maybe that's what we do.
Fucking oath.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that was the recap of what we've been going on. Now we're going to move on to the next segment of today's podcast, which is back to the random hat, random selector, because we actually don't have too much that we want to talk about. Actually, one thing I do want to talk about, I've heard on the grapevine, and I'm not going to break any news here. I'm not going to throw in people under the bus or anything like that. But I've heard on the grapevine that the USAPL are going to be running international competitions, and that the USAPL may be coming to Australia. I've heard it on the grapevine.
Yeah, I think the That was always the idea, but when they were still in the IPF, there was always talks about like we could just become our own international body, like the NBA, and we could make it global. But it seems like there's actually some steps happening to make that a thing. So very interesting to see how the next year or two unfolds.
Very interesting, because I don't think we are out of the troubles of Australian powerlifting yet. With all what happened last year, I don't know if we are even close to finding the answer of what
it looks like.
What it looks like.
Drug tested powerlifting in Australia.
In Australia, yeah. I don't think we're close to anything of any answer really. But that is one little thing. So that might be a scoop for some people. But watch this space. Could be interesting. We also potentially should have our first APU comp, because we have signed with APU. We should have our first APU comp hopefully in who did?
APU.
Crazy. That's the scoop. From Donnie, grinding. Even whilst podcast producing, grinding on Instagram. Find a better media
Latest
guy.
news.
Latest news from Donnie. APU just followed Melbourne Strength Culture.
About time.
Fucking oath about time. This is one of the top 50 health and fitness podcasts in Australia.
Do you know who we are?
This is where it's at in Australia right now. But we should have our first competition hopefully up for registration very soon. It'll be somewhere in March, and you should be able to use it to qualify for states if you want to compete in APU this year, drug-tested powerlifting in Australia.
Obviously, this podcast is getting a bit of reach, so maybe we can just put it out there. Like, if you're a gym in Melbourne...
Anywhere, man. Australia...
If you're a gym... No. Okay, what were you going to say there?
I was going to say any state in Australia.
Well, what I was going to say was, if you're a gym in Melbourne particularly... There's not a lot, brackets, nothing, on the APU calendar. So Jamie's, trying to make it happen in terms of comps. It's a pretty bleak outlook for drug-tested powerlifting moving forward. I'm sure, in time it's all going to come together. But right now, if you're a lifter, like, there's not a lot going out there. So if you are a lifter, if you train at a gym that has used to host comps, like, put some flame on them. Like, we've got to get things going. Like,
the time is now.
We're not in lockdown. Like, let's make it happen. Let's get some comps going.
Yeah, 100%. Well said, Didier. Fucking oath. All right.
Let's lift some weights.
That's the powerlifting chat out of the way. Let's
go.
go.
Not too much of that.
Yeah, let's go to... Well, we need to talk about some health and fitness, guys. If we want to be top 50 in Australia, health and fitness, that is the goal. We need to talk about some health and fitness. So we have some random hat questions here that we're just going to fucking fire off to the group.
Before we jump into those, we have a list in front of us, but obviously this is an ongoing podcast.
No, Jamie made a random generator.
No, we do. We do.
Yeah. You can add more.
Feel free to DM us if any more come up, and we'll just add them to the list.
I think Bouz is going to be doing weekly Q&As now.
Right. Fortnightly,
all right.
Yeah.
Weekly's too much.
It's too much.
Too much grinding.
It's too much grinding. That I've had requests for weekly ethnic overlays of my training videos. I think that's going to be a monthly thing.
Yeah,
as well. I've had every choco in the area say I need weekly over.
How was that post? Because I love. If you haven't seen the post, go back maybe to whatever date, maybe 2 days ago, the 9th of Jan on Jamie's Instagram, and see the greatest reel of all time.
I think I'm slowly making my transition into ethnic comedy.
You found your shtick, I think.
Yeah, shtick. That's my shtick. I had so many people message me, and they're obviously nice messages, but I was like, oh, all right. They're like, that's the best thing you've ever posted. I'm like, okay. I'm like, fuck, what about all the fitness content I put on this video? Anthony, so that video came about. I was ready to write an informational post from the training thing, like from the training footage. Anthony goes to me, oh, there's a voiceover thing on Instagram. And I was in bed Friday night. And I'm like, oh, we'll fuck around with it. And just rambled for whatever. I'm like, I can't post this. This is the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, any potential credibility. I'm like, and I got to stop thinking like that, because I think people just want ethnic comedy.
I think people want who you are.
They want you to be genuine.
That's it. That's the word. Genuine.
Yeah. All right. Well, if that's me being genuine, done. Plenty of ethnic comedy. Stay tuned. But that was the best. Most engagement ever on a post by far. Most views on a reel. Most comments. Most DMs. Most squeezes. So I guess that's me now, guys.
Squeeze master.
It's me. I'm the squeeze master.
Yeah, I rate it.
Never not squeezing.
I actually rate it. I thought it was hilarious. I watched it a few times during the day.
100% same.
And I'm glad that it got the love that it deserved. And it will help. Did you get followers?
Yeah.
How many?
20?
That's nuts.
Mate, found the answer.
I found the answer. It's shit talk. And you should see the Q&A yesterday.
Yeah,
Q&A
string, it's you. It doesn't help you wearing a stringer though.
You set the tone.
All the questions were about lateral raises, stringers, and what does it take to be a choco? Like, how can I be more choco?
You can't ask that question.
You can't ask it, but
If you ask that question, it's too late.
it's too late. You
One of the
can't.
things that we do want to do, I don't know if you've ever seen "Fuck That's Delicious" by Action Bronson, where
that's where I draw all my inspiration from.
Action Bronson has some fantastic one-liners in his songs. He's also just a really interesting person, makes some great YouTube content, and he's just an interesting person, but particularly in front of a camera. When he's talking smack, and he does these things where he either cooks or they go to like a restaurant and they I reckon we need to do it with Bouz, something similar where Bouz takes a guest.
I would happily do that.
Take a guest to one of the local eateries and they just describe what they're eating and how it is.
I would happily do that.
So if you want to see a "Fuck That's Delicious" version, we'll just name it something else.
Fuck, that's hectic.
Hectic feed.
Man, they talk the maddest shit.
Yeah.
It's
There's a
them
few
at-
people on YouTube that just do it well.
Yeah, no, I love like New York culture,
Yeah.
and humor. It's like him, Mayhem Loren's got Big Body Bez, and they can't. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone that can talk better shit than these guys.
Yeah.
He was talking. They were in like the ocean, and he was wearing Timberlands, and he was like, it's like this like all-purpose attire. And it's like bodyboarding with Timberlands.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's proper content. It's actually what we aspire to be able to do, to get our content streams to where we can literally just do what we want.
I think we're moving in that direction.
We're moving in that direction. And I think people are actually responding well to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I've definitely had comments being like, "Oh, why are you doing it?" and blah blah blah. But ultimately, we just want to have fun with what we're doing. We've identified, the four of us, that this team has the potential to make some waves in Australia, and I don't think we're going to do that faking our way, trying to be people that we're not. So we're just going the other route, which is just be ourselves and put it out there, which seems to be working, as you can tell when Bouz puts up a squeeze it post, it just fucking flies. So that's why we do it, and that's why we'll continue to do it. And 2022 is going to be even more of it. So be prepared, and also Top 50 podcast in Australia. Let's go with the random hat. The first thing that we're going to do as a random hat, because we do need to talk about health and fitness, is building habits in the new year. I think this is a good topic. It's not random. We've got 3 that we want to cover, and then we'll do the randoms. Sorry for the false advertising there, but building habits in the new year. It's probably like, it's a very typical cliche content early on in the year, but I think it matters, especially when we have the dirty dog Rona rolling through and really holding people back. I probably know, I would say more than half my friendship group either has it or had it. So that adds another layer to the mix. But how can you build your habits back after a period off, maybe the summer break or whatever? What are some entry-level things or some of those early steps that we can do? I saw you made a post or some content yesterday on it, Bouz. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So I think this is, whether it's the start of the year, whether you're just getting into fitness, whether you're already into fitness but trying to develop a new habit, it's just start small. Like, pick one thing, pick 2 things, and do them as well as you possibly can. Like, I still do it sometimes. Like, I'll say, all right, it's a kick. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to journal. I'm going to eat 500 grams of vegetables a day. I'm going to do this and that and everything. And I do it all for 3 days. And then by the 4th day, I can't be bothered doing any of it. Every other time that I've picked one thing to do, nail the shit out of that for a few weeks, the likelihood of that actually sticking goes through the roof. So you've literally, even if you think about it now, in I guess the time that we're living in, post New Year's, it's like, all right, we've just had Christmas, New Year's, we've been eating trash. For a lot of us have just been eating hard, drinking hard, not training, probably not as active as possible. And then we're going to go, all right, I'm going to overhaul my nutrition, train, get more active. And then whatever else you're adding onto it, you're just making life harder for yourself.
You're doing too much.
Yeah.
Too much too soon.
So I think it's like the word that I always think is just layers. So people always think, oh, you start small, and when is it from there? It's like you start small and then you add a layer, and then you nail that layer, and then you add another layer, and so on and so forth. And then over a year, you're probably going to be doing everything, quote unquote, right.
A lot more.
Yeah.
You're
it sounds cliche, but people underestimate what they can achieve in a short amount of time, but overestimate what they can achieve in a short amount of time, but underestimate what they can achieve in a longer amount of time. Because whenever, and we all fall victim to it, like you want to change something, you want to see an improvement, you want to see it now. But realistically, if you just have a bit more patience and know that if you keep at it, build those layers, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, you'll go really far and you'll actually follow that journey versus trying to do everything at once, going right back to the start and then going around in circles and getting nowhere. Like, because all that matters is progress. If you're moving in the right direction, that's what you want to be doing.
The right things. Yeah.
And that I think, I don't know, this is something I'm feeling at the moment. This isn't to say, it's like go easy on yourself. Yeah, like go easy on yourself. But
shit on yourself.
Like, well, it's in vogue at the moment.
Get your mates to shit on you.
I'm an advocate of that.
We need some context here, Jamie.
Let's context. Like, I think it's in
fucking
vogue.
nuance. Shit on your mates.
I'm all for it. Yeah, you're a weak dog. Do better. I'm better.
All right,
anyway,
we'll start here.
Let's add some nuance. All right, where's barbell medicine? Come and nuance this conversation.
Ella, I'm talking.
All right.
So,
fuck you.
I'm fucking talking. So, it's like, oh yeah, if you stuffed up, like, it's okay. Just get started next week. No, just fucking the next day, get back on it and do it.
But the key is starting doesn't mean do everything perfectly.
No.
It just means start doing something. People think, oh, I've been eating really shit. Tomorrow, I'm going to eat less. I'm going to move more. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for a run. It's like, no. Have the idea to want to be better, but do it gradually. That's the key.
For sure. But then also,
shit on your
other
mates.
side of the coin, like health and fitness, but at our core, we're a performance gym. Yeah?
Yeah.
The people that come here, and this isn't to say like you have to be great to come here. No, you don't.
No, definitely not.
You just have to want better and want progress.
That's the key.
And the thing is with that, like to do mad shit, you've got to do mad shit. Like you can't just fucking, all right, I'm going to like just take it easy with this and like just cruising it. And like just when I get there, I get there. Like when you get there, you get there, but you got to do shit to make that happen, which
100%.
I think is something that's sort of overlooked as well. Like we talk about training hard, like to build a rig, you have to train hard. To build a crazy total, you have to train hard. Like at some point, being easy on yourself is not going to cut it. Like it just isn't going to cut it. I don't think, especially if you want to be a performance athlete in something.
And like with most things, it just comes back to understanding what you want and then like aligning your habits with that. If you have this goal that's really big, whether it's body composition based, whether it's performance based, you have to make sure how you're going about your life aligns with that. If you're like, oh, I don't really mind, I just want to just kind of get in a bit better shape, just get a bit stronger, that's cool. You can go easy on yourself, but you have to be willing to go through the suck if you want to do something crazy, because everyone else who has done something crazy has also done that.
Yeah, or change your expectations. I think that's probably the biggest one.
Because if you keep banging your head into not being able to follow through with this plan you had set out, you might have to think, well, maybe this isn't for me. Like maybe these big goals that I say that I want, maybe I don't want. Maybe I can. Maybe I have a goal just in another area. Maybe I can go about this another way. Maybe I don't have to keep trying to achieve this goal that I think I want, but maybe I don't want it.
The other thing that I would throw in all of this conversation is hiring a coach, because whether you're starting out or trying to build habits or any of those sort of things, like even like the team of us of some of the strategies that we employ when we onboard new clients or anything like that, like we know how to set a plan that can actually be successful and you get those early wins in a progressed manner so that you can actually start to feel success, feel that growth, feel that progress into either the goal you're trying to achieve, or if you are in a period where you feel you want to push a bit harder and actually, all right, I'm going to take the reins off here and actually let this thing rip and let's see what we can do in maybe a 2-month or a 2-block period. Like we also, like a coach will know how to guide you through that, when to push, when to pull, when to focus on this, when to change focus and all of that sort of stuff. So ultimately, like, and this isn't just a selling point for us. We don't care if you hire us, but hire somebody that can actually help you get there. Like it's so cliche to say, and that's sort of the word of this segment so far, but fucking hire someone that can help you get there. It makes such a easier process. It makes it so much easier. So I think that ties all of that in together, whether or not you want to shit on your mates or whether or not you actually want to eat some fruit for the first time in the last 3 months. We can actually make some progress if we can build a successful strategy, build some habits, and get things moving slowly but surely.
Shit on your mates, eat fruit, and prove your shit.
That's it.
It's a motto.
It's hectic. It's real hectic. All right. The next one that we're going to discuss in the random hat is machines versus free weights in general, but also in the context of hypertrophy. I think, and we went through this evolution, myself included as just my own coach, but then us as a team. Obviously, the previous warehouse where we were situated didn't have enough space where we could really load up. And we really started purchasing machines right at the start of COVID, so we didn't get the massive benefit of them. But machines, I think, are fantastic, and I think they still get a bad rap. I don't know what this functional bullshit that people talk about is. Things aren't functional or whatever the fuck. That doesn't make any sense. But I think, in general, machines are beneficial for a lot of training outcomes in a lot of specific contexts and also in a lot of generalized contexts. I think machines are great.
I think they're great as well. But just to answer the question, I don't think either one is better. I definitely think it lies somewhere in the middle always. Like, you're probably going to see good results from using barbells and dumbbells for a hypertrophic response without a doubt. But I guess for that as well, machines just take a lot of the thought out of the exercise. I think that's usually the biggest barrier.
What do the compound boys call it? Dumb exercise? Or is that Pat Davidson? Pat Davidson, the dumb exercises.
Dumb exercises. Like, if you can think, get into a position and get it done, you're probably going to have a more directed adaptation than, all right, I've got to do this, but not only do I have to get better at this movement, I have to focus on X, Y, and Z to make sure that the adaptation I'm looking for is as directed as possible. And I think that's where machines really, really, like, they're just mega beneficial. Like, if you see people just drop off quality towards the back end of a session, sweet. Maybe select an exercise that their output is not going to be affected by technique dropping off, by way of fatigue. So, yeah, again, the answer's somewhere in the middle, but they are fantastic.
They are fantastic, 100%.
Nothing else to add other than I think the question isn't a question. They're both good. They both can be useful in different contexts. But, yeah, machines are the ones that cop a rap. Free weights don't really cop a rap. So I think it's
Do you want to shit on free weights for a bit? Let's find three things.
I've got one loaded up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's find three things where free weights suck.
All right. It's sort of a free weight, but it's sort of like the reason why machines
it's a
are
free
great.
weight. Fuck
Okay,
it.
sweet. So I've gone through this Bulgarian split squat phase with 2 dumbbells.
Oh, wait. We need... You became the Bulgarian split squat
guy.
Prince of Australia. Everyone was commenting on your fucking...
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
Yeah. You like that. There was... Adelaide, people were commenting on it.
Queensland.
Gyms in Melbourne were, if Bouz can do 62s, I've got to do 47s, blah, blah, blah. Martin Ewan, who's a fucking animal. He's even on it
I was
now.
like, that's a compliment. Like,
Big time.
except you could shit on my squad.
Yeah.
We'll leave that. I'll take the split squat.
Kung Fu Henny, shout out. Kung Fu Henny. He's on it as well.
Goat.
But yeah, let's go. Shit on the BSS.
Yeah. And anyway, just a side note, if you're an up-and-coming personal trainer that wants to bump up your engagement, build your split squat.
It's the key.
That's the most amount of followers I've got from anything, and I was on the explore page heaps, just from split squats. So if you want to fucking bump your engagement up, split squat out of the way. Anywho, I was doing them, and honestly, I was doing them. The reason I was doing them was to be like, I'm going to push an exercise that I hate, that are like notorious for being the most hated gym exercise in the gym, just for like, I don't know, a mental toughness thing. Shit on me if you want, but I definitely think doing things that you don't enjoy doing are going to make you a better athlete, better human. Anyway, that's why I did them. And also, if my client was going to be like, oh yeah, I don't like doing them, I'm like, fuck you.
I'm the king of them.
I've done them, and I've gone through them, and they made me a better person. So do it.
You don't have a choice.
So I don't care if they build bigger quads and that. I'm a better person as a result.
Bigger heart.
Yeah, bigger heart. Exactly.
Tigger.
Which has led me. All right, I did what I did, set the goal, did it, whatever. It was fine. Fell short, a little bit short, but don't worry about that. I just think as a movement, the stimulus was inconsistent because of foot placement and whatever else. Now, to replicate the stimulus from week to week, I would have had to like line up or rule or have a marker on the ground to have it like perfect. And then also while holding, 50 kilo plus dumbbells, having to try and move positions.
Balance and
It just wasn't a good exercise. Now I'm doing something that's more machine-like in an SSB supported
Hatfield
squat, Hatfield.
Hatfield, for anyone, it's where you sort of hold the rack with your hands.
Yep. And foot placement, I can measure out. I can use markers on the rack to know that, all right, my foot's here, the roller's there.
Consistent. It's consistent.
It's consistent. And by way of external stability or just a support, I can make it more of a machine. It's a more
Uniform,
replicated, uniform from rep to rep. The stimulus is more consistent. I have less things to worry about. The complexity's down because of support. It's just a much better exercise, which is more machine focused. So in that context, the more machine-like movement is far better than a free weight movement because complexity is way down. It's a more consistent stimulus, and I can just focus on getting after it and steaming my quads and glutes. Speaking of which, did them on Saturday, and I haven't been able to walk properly for 3 days. So
Busted that.
Yeah,
about that life.
With circling back a bit, with like machines free weights, like often it depends, but that's a clear example where it's definitely better to go that. Once, if you're in early phases, just getting into training doesn't really matter, but once you're moving a good amount of weight, it's definitely better to go that option.
Once you got some
100%.
output, 100%.
That's an absolute. That's an absolute.
Yeah.
100%.
But which one brings you more clout?
Oh, just give it a few weeks, bruh. We'll see.
We'll see.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know. I'm doing 15s though at the moment, so I don't think I'm going to be able to push the same weight because there's metabolites be metabolizing.
I don't like that attitude.
Nah, we're going to take it 140. Bro, I was deaf for 40 minutes after. My ears were popping. I was like close to vomiting. I was like waddling around. Anthony's talking to me. I'm like, what? Like, I couldn't hear him. It was horrible.
Dribbling mess.
Are we about that life? Yeah.
What we do.
Only doing it for engagement.
Clout. 2022 is the year of clout.
The year of clout. We're hunting clout.
That's actually one thing that we have come up with.
Yeah,
It's
top 50 fitness podcast.
We're not going to
health
get
and
there
fitness.
without clout.
No.
We need it.
No, so if you got clout and you're listening to this, we want you in that seat so we can hijack
we got a
your
spare
clout.
seat.
We got one. Come and give us some clout.
Yeah, you can't say we're not transparent.
Nah.
Nah.
Alrighty. That was good. I think, do we want to do any more shitting on free weights?
If you're good at RDLs, they suck. After my if you're strong at RDLs, they suck. So
No, 100%.
Again,
Yeah.
after you have just literally hammered
No, but
RDLs,
once again,
you guys are just turning on
that's the
your...
thing. No, but why
No,
did I
my
do
primary for the RDL was to build my deadlift.
I
I think as a deadlift accessory.
as a deadlift accessory.
Yeah, but they came on later.
That were later.
They came to beat me, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
So even though I got beat, they came to beat me.
And they
We were
did it.
chasing you.
Yeah.
So listen, fucking my actual program, hamstring curls and machine hip thrust. Great stimulus fatigue ratio, great bodybuilding exercises. Only reason I did RDLs was for ego. No reason other. Not to say they're a bad exercise, but for me, big boy over here can do 220 for 6. My lower back was sore for like 4 days. Not really.
Yeah, but also,
But-
for context, Didier has only done them like twice.
But to be fair,
Bigger flex.
To be fair, also, other instances, like if you're trying to balance, like trying to be a bit more serious now, if you're trying to balance deadlifting with RDL, if you are doing heavy deadlifts twice a week, and on top of that, you're trying to throw in some barbell RDLs over 20
you're
kilos,
just gonna
it's just
bring
too much
something
stimulus. It's
in.
like you're doing 3 deadlifts.
That's
so
stupid.
that's an instance where they wouldn't be great.
It would
You
have
wouldn't
to...
wanna go with
An
them.
RDL would have to take a primary slot.
Yeah,
For sure. Like it has
if you're
to.
that good at them, they become a main lift, like in the purest sense.
I could
Yeah.
not imagine doing that the day after. So it just like logistically doesn't make sense.
And just to
If
just
I
to
was
like
to do
just to
that.
make it clear, if you're a bit early in your training careers, it doesn't mean you have to drop RDLs now. If you do barbell RDLs, you're getting good progress, you enjoy them. If you're doing 2 deadlift days and barbell RDLs and it all seems to be going well, that's fine. But there may come a time if you get really strong at them where it's just too much overall workload. Just to give a bit of clarity there with that one.
100%. Structuring training around free weights sometimes, I think...
It just becomes more difficult.
It becomes a lot more difficult. Like you could throw... Let's just even take like a set a set prescription. If you had 4 sets of, let's just say, glute ham, trying to navigate a well-structured program and putting that 4 sets into something like an RDL or a trap bar stiff leg or something like that, compared to putting that into like a lying leg curl or a seated leg curl or a machine hip thrust or something. Those machine inputs are so much easier to navigate because you just control so much of that more global stress on the system. Like you just minimize all of the noise that comes from a free weight.
Otherwise, it ends up becoming a puzzle of like, all right, you're going to do this on this day, this on that day. And it's like, we out of days. Like, you're going to be fatigued all the time.
Yeah.
Or you will be. You will be
for sure. I think psychologically massively. Like, knowing that I had RDLs and knowing that it was going to be a 40-minute ordeal or like 30-minute ordeal.
Well, that's the other thing.
That's enough.
From like a time perspective,
it just takes a while.
Free weights, man, you could do a machine like a hard. I think this is like Dean McKillop. He trains in like under an hour or something.
Yeah.
Because all of his stuff is machine based. You do like one warm up set. You
maybe
really
two.
And then you can take your first set to proper like RP9.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about any of this fucking fringe shit that's going on. So 2022, it's the year of Top 50 podcasts. It's the year of Clout. It's the year of fuck free weights. I think that's where we're at.
We were like in the middle with free weights,
fuck
but
'em.
fuck them.
And RDLs, if you're still doing
Or fuck
RDLs,
some.
Who the fuck are you?
No, that's 2021. And
Fuck
if you're
some.
still doing dumbbell split squats, 2021. Bad luck.
Yeah, we're on the SSB now.
Yeah.
I'm still doing RDLs.
Stick with
RDLs sub 6 reps.
Yeah.
That's the gangster
key.
shit.
All right. Cool. Let's do one more let's actually do a random one because those two were set up.
Yeah, come on, flex your generator, Mr. Programmer.
All right, here we go.
Mr. Elon Musk.
Number 20. Number 20. Oh, we've already done that one. Bruz, what's it like punching someone in the face?
Yeah, no,
that's
no,
all right.
again.
I'm going to 22. Oh, this
What
is
does it
actually
say?
great. Grunting and G-ups.
Yes,
Discuss.
that's the answer.
All right, real quick. The
This is
reason
actually random.
Yeah, no,
I pressed enter
amazing.
on the button. Number 22 on the list. Grunting, you can prove that. I didn't set
sweet.
that up.
I actually can't read that far, but I'm just going to quickly, before when Didier was telling a story about his hand manipulation and getting the jab, I wasn't actually laughing at your story. Internally, I was thinking about you pacing around the surgery, just screaming, "You fucking dog!" Because if anyone
Has been at the gym.
if anyone has seen Didier G up for a big set, you will hear him scream, "Fucking dog!"
Wait, I remember there was
about 4 or 5 times. So I'm just imagining you before the nurse, like just pacing around, all right, I'm going to get this jab, and just like getting the jab in your hand, you're like, fuck, do it, dog!
There was a day that I came in on a Monday afternoon for the team meeting or whatever, and Didier had sort of lost his voice, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on with your voice?" He's like, "Oh, me and Brick were just yelling at each other in our session."
I remember.
I'm guilty of all that.
This is so funny. I was speaking to Monat. If anyone doesn't know Monat, works with Anthea,
Thrive Stronger.
And you know, like it's some of the clients have never been in a gym like this, and it expressed that maybe, it's a powerlifting performance gym, might be a bit like anxious coming into a new space and whatever else. And we were like reassured, nah, it's all sweet. Like we don't really have that going on here. Like it's pretty calm. Like it's a very broad population of people that train. First session, this poor girl came in, see Didier and Brick on the pendulum. "Oh, fuck, dog!" screaming as loud as possible. Charlie is like usually pretty subdued
Charlie's
as well.
real subdued.
Decides to get in on it.
Charlie, I've witnessed Charlie slap himself. Like,
When
it's like
Charlie's usually
full-on
subdued,
crack
but when
himself.
Charlie goes, he goes.
Because he's competitive. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's competitive.
100% is competitive, man.
And then Cesar's like, "I'm going to show these dogs." And then there's just people screaming. And it's like, what's going on out of the corner? I'm like, I feel sorry, but Didier is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Showed Charlie. Showed me how it is.
But so grunting and G-ups. Obviously, we are a fan of them here.
Periodized G-ups.
Periodized G-ups. You cannot and replace G-up with anything. Ammonia is another classic example of
It gets
people-
overused. It gets overused.
What did you say? If everyone's a king, no one's a king?
Yeah, if everyone's a king, no one's a
Like
king.
if all your sessions are G-ups, none of them are
G-ups.
G-ups. You're not G-ing up. You're just hitting
tracks
your
as well. Music as well.
Music.
If you're going
like that
hard shit.
When I
day
was
one.
yelling dog fucking on the day of the Itch Pig launch, that was the biggest G up I'd had in like 3 months. Like it's not a common thing to go that hard. Like you can't be going that hard all the time.
Nah.
Yeah, so they need to be planned. Not planned per se. They just can't be all
They've
the
got to
time.
be managed well. They've got to
Yeah.
be managed.
Yeah,
For sure.
Because
Because it's taxing.
It's taxing. That's the thing.
It's really
like,
taxing. Like the way you feel after like working yourself up before a set, getting into a song if you listen to music
Waiting
to
for the
pump
drop.
yourself up, waiting for the drop, like timing it, sniffing ammonia, someone slapping you. Shit's taxing. If you do that often, it does nothing for you.
For sure. And like it's got to be something you use either if it's like you're just feeling down and you need it, or you're deep into a block and you're really starting to handle some crazy rates. If you need that in like week 2, it's just what are you doing? Like you don't need it. You really don't. Like just
Like where's
just
your
train.
baseline?
Just train.
Yeah, exactly. Like who is it? Steve Hall? Is it Steve Hall? Revive Stronger?
yeah,
Last name Hall?
Yeah.
he's jacked.
He's
a big
jacked,
boy.
but he listened. He was putting videos up of him doing like at home COVID workouts when it was like like peak isolation in the UK, and he was listening to like lo-fi hip hop.
Yeah,
like
if
it's
the
week
gym's
1,
empty,
week
I've got
2,
Adele
just
on.
Super calm.
Adele.
Super calm.
We've had some Adele sessions here. We've had some
That was
Missy,
one of my favorite sessions.
Missy Higgins sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here you go.
So yeah, the G up works.
Just know when to use it and
Not all
treat
the
it
time.
with respect. The G.
Not all the time. And if you are G'ing up, especially here, if you are G'ing up all the time, we see you. We see you.
We know who you are.
We know who you
and you know who you are.
Yeah, we see that G up that isn't really a G up. Because if they're all G ups,
None of them are G.
they're not G ups. That's the crux. And I think that sums up the year. The first podcast. I think we've done pretty well. Does anyone have anything else they want to say coming into 2022? Obviously, just from our perspective, we do want to get our powerlifting team back up and running. Last sort of 18 months have been pretty trash for powerlifting, let's be honest, for a multitude of reasons. But we are really excited from a team perspective to get our group back up and competing. We want to take a massive team to nationals this year. What the competition will be like, we don't really give a fuck. We just want to take a strong team. So we do say if you are interested in powerlifting, in probably APU more than anything from a drug tested perspective in 2022, you probably need to start to look at competitions. There aren't a lot. We can help you if you want. Just DM one of the coaches or the gym or go through the website or whatever. We can help you out, and we want to help you out. We want to have a fucking cracking team for powerlifting. We want to get back to where we were a couple of years ago before all this shit hit the fan. So that's probably one thing that I want to say. If you're interested in powerlifting in 2022, please reach out to the Culture Boys. We want to help, and we want you to be part of a great team. Anything else?
No.
Nah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Rate
And
it.
rate. If you made it this far, please help us. Comment, like, subscribe on YouTube, or just hit the 5-star on Spotify. If you're on Apple, we don't really give a shit. Fuck
If you're on Apple, why are you on Apple?
Rate it anyway. Rate it anyway, but then go to Apple and leave them a review and tell them that the interface sucks.
Yeah. All right. Done. Take it easy. Charles isn't here. R.I.P.
Take it twice. Yalla, bye.
Bye.
Bye.